Late season's always been one of my favorite times to hunt. You know, growing up as a kid, so many memories of snow and whitetails, and we even did a lot of driving deer between Christmas and New Year's, just looking for does, trying to harvest does. It's a great time of the year to harvest does. We'll get to that in a second. But the late season paid off again for me this year, and we were hunting the secondary rut, and secondary rut a lot of times falls in with a lot of states' muzzleloader seasons. That's that early December time period. Maybe it's bow in your state, but secondary rut, we'll start with that first. You're basically fast forwarding 30 days from the primary rut, and that puts you smack dab in the middle when a lot of does are being bred. That means a few are left out. That means there's great opportunity in early December. Hunt a little bit different. You know, December, it's all about food. Deer trying to replenish themselves. But boy, this buck right here, this old guy, he was after a doe this morning, and during that secondary rut, that's when they recuperated for a couple weeks and then slam back into that secondary rut opportunity. Really like to hunt mornings this time of year. We get that rut cruising, deer moving a lot more during the morning hours than they are the evening hours. And then of course, late afternoon food sources are really key. Last half hour of light. But you know, we shot this guy right here 2.5, 3 hours into light this morning, and he was hot on a doe came right to us, and so you have that great morning opportunity during the secondary rut. After the secondary rut, after you're not seeing any more, you should start seeing the scrapes open up this time of year, and after you're not seeing that rutting activity anymore, then I rarely hunt a morning, take a morning stand, unless I'm looking at great afternoon warm-ups, where you're looking at soft snow, you're looking at late morning huntings when deer are actually bedding during the frozen part of the day to conserve energy right at daybreak, and then they're getting up on their feet and they're feeding on browse, woody browse, acorns, brush, briars, whatever it might be, right adjacent to their bedding area. So if you can get in and out of their of a stand location through the late season and not spook deer in those morning hours, then it might be a great opportunity. But you want to place a high premium on the afternoon hunt right before dark. Again, those deer are really putting on the feed bag. I find the colder it is, the better. They're hitting those food sources, and you don't want to mess up an evening hunt just to go in and take a chance on a morning hunt. So a lot of times I'm hunting in the morning if I do on another property or another location on the property where I'm not going to mess up that evening hunt. But it's all about food in the late season after that secondary rut, and locating yourself between bedding areas and food is a great tactic because you might not get to the food till after dark, especially with all the hunting pressure. Sometimes locating yourself closer to that bedding area. It's not a bad idea to get close to that bedding area, but you have to keep in mind if you get too close, you're going to spook them out and ruin your afternoon hunt. So as close as you can get to that bedding area, then you might get a chance at a nice buck exiting his bedding area. But think about when you're closer to that food source, maybe over a mock scrape, maybe a water hole if it's not frozen, you're starting to get closer to the bottom of the funnel of afternoon movement. The direct bottom of the funnel is the actual food source. So they can come in from all different ways to get to that food source. So if you're putting all your hopes into one bedding area, you might miss out by not being next to that bottom of the funnel right at the food source, or 50 yards off the food source, 100 yards off the food source. So you really have to balance your opportunity there. And that brings up a final point about the late season. Great opportunity to harvest some does. The worst time to harvest a doe is opening day of gun season. You want your property to be as secure as possible opening day, middle of the season, and I never shoot a doe in the middle of the season unless I already have a buck down on the ground and I have to go pick it up anyways, drag it out. Then I'll shoot a doe. I'll often turn my gun to a doe that's standing nearby. Would have done it this morning, actually had to reload, so didn't have an opportunity to do that. But great opportunity to harvest does end of the season and the beginning of the season. I really like to take that middle 6 week, 8 weeks off, let the property be the only secure property in the area. And that means not pounding a bunch of does and trying to reach your doe harvest goals all season long. There's a lot of strategy for doe harvest. I encourage you to take advantage of that towards the end of the season. We're certainly going to. My last buck tag is filled right here. And I hope you take advantage of late season, because look for warm-ups, look for periods right before the storm. Look for those calm, warm snow periods where there's soft snow during the middle of the day for browsing opportunities. And then of course, always focus on late season food sources.